Hello everyone, this is Kitish here. In this video, I'm going to go through the AQA Combined Science Biology Paper 1 Higher Tier from 2024. Question number 3 is on the topic of infection and response. This question is about communicable diseases. Measles is a communicable disease caused by a pathogen. Now, what is a pathogen? A pathogen is any microorganism, for example, bacteria, virus, fungi, or protists that can cause a disease. What type of microorganism causes measles? That would be a virus. Vaccinations help reduce the spread of measles. Suggest 2 ways the spread of measles can be reduced. Do not refer to vaccination in your answer. Now, if you can't refer to vaccination, what can you do? Well, what would you do if someone gets measles in your house? You could isolate them so that it doesn't spread. So, isolation of patients. We commonly do this if someone gets chicken pox in the house and we don't want other people catching it, especially elderly people or grandparents in the house. Because measles spreads by direct contact or through sneezing and coughing, you could cover your nose, and mouth, and mouth when sneezing or coughing. I could also write another one. Wash hands frequently. As well, I'm pretty sure it should be okay to say wear face mask as well for this. It actually says ignore PPE unqualified. So, but if you say wear face mask to cover your mouth and nose, it should be fine. Describe how the measles vaccine helps a person to become immune to the measles pathogen. Now, how does the vaccine actually help? The vaccine has a weakened or inactive form of the virus. So that's the first step. So let's write it as bullet points. The vaccine contains a weakened form of the virus. You could say inactive as well. 2. When injected, the white blood cells produce antibodies. Now this takes a little bit of time, about roughly 2 weeks, 7 days to 2 weeks for it to be fully active. The antibodies produced are specific to the measles virus. Now you wouldn't want to write in this space in the exam, write it on the line 4. It also creates memory cells Now, memory cells are a type of white blood cells that is also produced, which are very specific for this antigen or the measles virus. So the next time you get infected, the memory cells will remember this antigen and produce the antibodies much faster. So the first time you have the vaccine, it takes about roughly 7 to 14 days for the body to fully respond. The second time, it'll take only a couple of days. So you could say the last point on secondary exposure. So the vaccine is your first exposure or primary exposure, and when you come across the measles pathogen in for real, it might be a month or a couple of years. The memory cells, some of the memory cells for specific antibodies actually are there for the rest of your life in your body. So on secondary exposure, antibodies are produced faster. That's the whole point of the vaccines, for your body to actually get rid of the virus very fast so that it doesn't cause a lot of damage. Norovirus is a type of virus. Explain how viruses cause illnesses. Now, viruses cause illnesses by actually destroying the cells. For that, the first, viruses enters cells and reproduce inside the cell. Now, when they reproduce, eventually there'll be so much virus that will burst out and come out of the cell, which causes damage to the cells. This damages or kills the cells. Bacteria, on the other hand, they produce toxins, which are chemicals which can cause adverse reactions. Drugs can help to reduce the symptoms of the norovirus infection. New drugs must go through clinical trials before being licensed for use. Give 3 reasons why clinical trials are needed. Why do we actually need to test drugs? Now, first is actually test drugs for toxicity, which is basically to see if it is poisonous. You'd want to give a drug that will kill the patient. The second is to test for efficacy. Is it effective? Does it actually work? If it doesn't kill the patient, does it actually work? There's no point in giving a drug that doesn't work very well. Third, test to determine dosage. How much of the drug do you actually give the patient? Because some drugs might cause side effects even though they might actually work. So you might want to find the right balance so that it works and it doesn't cause too much side effects as well. That brings us to the end of question number 3, and I will see you in question number 4.